Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel, IndigoAngel. Come on into this dimension. Come on into this 555 pool mermaid portal. Come on into this Pensacola Beach ET briefing. Okay, as I have been looking so much deeper into my local grids and the Skynets as well. And what I've been finding is there's so much to work through here. It's absolutely insane because there's so much technology that's running just in the atmosphere, in the environment. It does feel like a very heavy, dense energy here, saturated in the moisture, like the humidity, basically. So it feels even more weighted when you're coming into frequency fences, when you're coming into the electrical magnetic RAN bubble nets or bubble reality fields, according to their grid computation, infiltration. And so it takes some time to get used to being here. Let's just put it that way. It's taken a lot of time with having to filter through what's inorganic and what is working through me to kind of show me where I can recognize what can bring up a lot of triggers, basically, because things are so thick, things are so heavy in the air here. It really brings up a lot of unknowing triggers and triggers that you don't even know you've had. Okay, let's just put it that way. I've been learning a lot of new things about myself since moving down here, and it's because things are moving up and through me that I've never seen or felt before. So just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I've been really starting to research as to what it is I'm starting to be shown. And I've been finding that there is an immensity of ET and UFO and UAP reportings and sightings here in the Pensacola coast. And it looks like it's been a consistent reporting here. They've been reporting on this, finding these since the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s to current times. And it's real Willy Wonka documented evidence of this. I had no idea how extraterrestrially this place was activated. There's even a trailer that just came out for a show called Farsight, where they have all of this documented evidence of the actual UFO fleet over Pensacola. It's at farsightprime.com. So I'll leave the link to that down in the description. It may be something you want to go check out, as it's been blowing my mind at how activated it is here. And so I really think this is a highly activated extraterrestrial activity location. This is the real deal here, guys. This area is popping off the charts with UFO activity. One thing that kind of like clued me into it when I first got here was that we even have a UFO designed putt-putt miniature golf. That's a really big attraction here right off of the Pensacola Beach shores. And I always thought that was strange when I first moved here. And now it's all kind of making sense as to why these things are being subliminally speaking through the active streams of currency here, and why the ETs are soft introduced to the collective here. Okay, active towards the collective. It's a real extraterrestrial putt-putt golf. Like, it's all about the aliens. And so, yeah, it's cluing me into more and more what's going on here. I have been sitting on the beach really late at night because I get really stir crazy in the evenings. And so I just go down to the beach at night after everybody's leaving the beach. So that way I can kind of have the place to myself. And I just lay back in the sand for hours, just spread my arms and just completely dissolve my body into the sand. And I just read the open night sky. And I have been noticing some really strange happenings in the later hours that are compelling me to speak about this more and more. So I'm getting so many ideas of things to go and do and to scout and to read up on. There's definitely a lot of star forts down here. Fort Pickens has a major star fort that I think I'm going to go check out as well. But it's So I think they are working with gridding geometrics here in the land to also call in extraterrestrial activity. One thing that I've noticed on the beach, just observing the sky, is that there is a major diversity of aircraft activity day and night. There are blinking lights, there are hovering lights, there are slowing and speeding lights, and what looks like from a holographic perspective as you remote in, it looks like cloaked UFOs, like in the clouds, or cloaked UFOs in the mist or in the fog. And in the late hours on Pensacola Beach, there seems to be like this really heavy, soaked, dense fog that seems to roll in at the same time between about 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. This like really heavy mist comes in. And what it looks like is it's releasing or what it's accumulated of is frequency shedding. So spirit deposits or soul shard fragments of many different levels of living consciousness and energetic condensed and trapped soul river fields and streams. So it looks like there's actual streams pulling off the beach into one consistent funnel. Okay, that rides along the shore. And so it looks like it's containing harvested loose from partygoers, sex and drugs and dangerous exchanges, inebriated and induced spirits of possession. That's what I really feel the most, is like possessed spirit energy, lesser spirits, SRA loosh, the grieving, the suffering, the MK Ultra collective. It just looks like a hot mess. Okay. And the mist, literally, it's containing all of that with pollution. So it looks like it's merging with polluted fields. Okay. And I'm not kidding you. It literally feels somewhat like a haunting right at the coast at those hours. It feels like a haunting. It feels like an entrapment zone. It feels like a harvesting zone. And it looks like the way it's being funneled, it looks like it's being funneled into some form of a dark military or negative ET tech or technology. I was seeing blue beams shoot across the sky, like over the water. And so yeah, I immediately sensed the blue beam technology, Project Blue Beam technologies that were basically given to the controllers on the earth, right? Those that have the power of all of this technology, and the Orion groups. And it's for them to control the Earth's surface, basically, to project living and active extensive holograms through their blue beams of fake alien invasions, nuclear wars, religious symbols, spiritual figures into the upper atmosphere. So it just depends on the agenda that they've chosen for the area in terms of mind control of the population, but it ultimately is to control the outer field perception of the outer firmament hologram. And so there's definitely blue beam technology running down here on the coast. And the more that I dive into that, I think this is all technically running from the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, and the above ground ones too, because there's a lot of those down here as well, which if you had watched my previous update, I was talking about these DUMBs or deep underground military bases, that these are center inner earth facilities that produce the mass frequency fences. So not only are they producing Project Blue Beam, but they pump out these mass frequency fences, which would be control matrices around those holographic bubble realities of the grid computation and control. And essentially they do it to run it so they can implement all kinds of distortions. I guess it's just another form of blue beam technology. Frequency fences would kind of be that, but it's just a different emission of electromagnetic frequency. Through the fences, they can actually, implant the J seals to run. They can implant the Draco seals to run. They can implant the sexual distortion fields to run. We want to look at why certain areas in our national grid is more geared towards gender dysphoria, gender degradation, essentially, breakdown of the nuclear families. They can essentially target the grids and just run the implants or the mind wave control fields through those frequency fences in whatever area they want to gear up those fences. So there's a lot of things that they run through the fences. They can run other spiritual energetic structures that are just completely of the paranormal. And so that's what I think they're definitely doing down here on the coast. It's all becoming more and more clear to me now as I've settled in and started working through some of this stuff, because I kept thinking, like, why does my frequency feel so heavy so consistently? I wasn't feeling this in Alabama. It was not the same. There's more suffering in the grids in Alabama, but there's less alien tech. So what I think I was seeing on the coast was typhoon funnels. If you guys have heard of typhoon funnels, these are basically inorganic negative tunnels that, and this is where I think the mist is accumulating to, and it's where they vampirize all of the living things. Okay. And they're reversing the spiral direction of organic life force current from its natural movement towards an ascending northern position celestially. So normally, like soul spirit shards, they would go towards the north. They would go towards the Cygnus system. They would go towards the Milky Way. They would go towards the metagalactic core. This would be the organic flow. Instead, the alien machinery is forcing the life force energy to spiral, to move downwards into a descending reversal pattern towards the southern position along the beach, towards the negative tech, and towards the location of the DUMBs and the military bases. So I think this is heavily interfering with organic life movement here, just overall. Really tampering the spiritual immune system of the planet and the spiritual immune system of everybody living down here. I mean, the homeless population is pretty bad. And I think people here in general seem to be really suffering with addictive patterns, a lot of separation and connection from others. And so, why wouldn't they be doing it here? This is the perfect organic marriage site. These coasts are the perfect organic marriage sites, union sites, fertility sites, spring sites, connected to the springs. I mean, these spring portals are not that far from the coast. So these are all interconnected organic structures where we have all 5 elements so highly activated and running extensive organic living power systems, again, to power the Earth's spiritual immunity. So they're going to be tapping off of those resources. I have noticed that at the beach fronts currently, and according to astrological alignments, you have clear access to major celestial systems here. Like as you lay back on the beach and you just spread your arms open and just reach for the stars with your soul and your spirit, you're basically, you have access to all the major systems. Cygnus, Lyra, Orion, Arcturus, Venus, Mars, the moon. They're all there. Aquila. And so you have a lot of access to the power of the organic coordinates of the Earth's race morphogenetic field because of that as well. And also the 0-point pillar of inner Earth to the stratosphere, to the firmament. So you're kind of like right in between those portal gateways. And so the coastal regions are just celestially activated to power global stargates, to power the Aurora and Amorea passageways between water and earth realms, passageways between heaven and earth and underworld realms as well. And they are the exit and entrance points into the infinite and beyond. So these are majorly organic activated areas. And so I've dug into the research a little bit more, trying to check into, more of this ET activity here. And I think what makes this place so UFO heightened is that Pensacola is the cradle of aviation. The United States Navy base is located next to a subdivision here in Pensacola called Warrington. Now, Warrington has a crazy vibe. I'm going to tell you guys about that. But essentially, the Navy base here it's a primal training base for US Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard officers. They also have their precision flying team known as the Blue Angels. And the Blue Angels fly consistently over the coast during air shows, and they practice drills for all the beachgoers to see regularly. I've seen them multiple times now demonstrating their flying. And basically, the entire city of Pensacola is covered in the Blue Angel symbolism. I mean, the people here are proud of the Blue Angels. And so it's on everything from the decor off the side of the exits on the highways all the way to the billboards all over the city. And so I'm now starting to wonder if it's not some form of gaslighting the collective, some form of mind control perception, if it's not a form of blue beam technology, Blue Angel precision flying drill teams that are using these operations as a cover up for UFO port access, because there are other specific Navy bases. One that I can think of particularly that I studied in depth was in Australia, called the Naval Communication Station, the Harold E. Holtz Navy Station, that are known for strange disappearances and underwater ET access ports. Kind of like the real Men in Black. Like if you have these Navy facilities that take in underwater UFO craft and check them in to the earth, basically, and have this massive rotating ET door. So that was one thing that I noticed about that station in Australia was I think it was a real Men in Black location. And not only that, I mean, they had massive planetary branding that they were doing there. They had the Saturnian matrices branding there at that location as well. And also they've had some weird stuff going on down there. Again, major disappearances of people, major disappearances of submarines. A lot of crazy, like, paranormal activity has been happening down there at that base. So I'm sure the paranormal activity is off the chain here as well. I just have to, dig into it more. But essentially, I think there's a lot more to look into in terms of the grounds of Pensacola. I'm sure there's some planetary branding running here. I did take an aerial view of looking at the runway of the Navy base. I'll have to decode that more to see if there's any branding technologies that they're using, which is essentially where they install iron rods in geometric forms underneath the precision air runways. And so they can activate those geometries in the ground. But yeah, guys, it's pretty crazy. Warrington itself is a city set up and prepped for war, basically. And I'm not too far from this. There is an installed war sound alert system installed through the entire city of Warrington. There are sandbags stacked up along the streets, prepped along the sides of the roads for the areas that they've determined to be war zones. Off the streets, they have watchtowers installed in place. Warrington is supposed to be one of the best equipped war cities in the country. So you can really feel the energy of war when you're down here. It's just simply entering into Warrington, the vibration is off the chains. And it's just kind of creepy as well, because you see that vibration, that frequency around the schools, like the elementary schools, the middle schools, the high school. And it just feels like a stone imprint of Holocaust. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It just doesn't feel right having that energy around the schools where there are children. So I'm sure they have a pretty intense evacuation protocol for all of that, but it just feels like they're ready for something. They're ready for something to pop off down there. So it makes sense why ET activity would be heightened. I think what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to do a secret spy mission to scope out that base. I'm definitely going to go scope out the Naval Museum. I'm going to see how close I can get and just take in some location observations. So drop it down in the comments if you guys want to come along with me for that. Who knows, maybe I'll do like a video blog or something, but let me know if you want me to go scope it down, because I will. I mean, I'll see how close I can get before I get in trouble and get kicked out, but you know how it is. Surely ain't gonna go down there with my angel wings, but yeah, I mean, I think it's worth to go try to feel deeper into the energies there. And yeah, so I'm sticky right now. It's really hot. So I think I have my bathing suit on, so I'm about to jump in the pool here when I get done doing this. But yeah, I've been getting on YouTube messier and messier and more scrubbed out every time. And it's just because, it's hard to wear makeup down here. Everything melts off your face. So it is what it is. But in the meantime, I wanted to let you guys know that we are hosting another remote group Gridworker session for the Lionsgate portal. Let me just show you really quickly. It is on my website. So you go to IndigoAngel222.com, go to my services tab, and then scroll down. I'm just going to screen share with you guys really quick. So you go to my website and you're going to go to the services. Okay. And then you're going to scroll down, and here under my services, you come down to the bottom. You see the Lionsgate Coastal Shore Clearing Group Gridwork mission. This is going to be on Lionsgate 8/8 at 1 p.m. CST. And so we are going to work on specifically spiritually cleaning up and clearing the energy along the major coast portals, collapsing down the typhoon funnels, collapsing down the dark military ET tech that is running. And I highly encourage you to join us. We are going to be so much more powerful with our work in bigger groups. And this information will be down below in the description, so you guys can join us and participate with us on the Lionsgate. We would really love to have you. Last time we had a really good group and a lot of information came through. I even got some feedback by a couple people who messaged in just to let me know like some of the transformational things that happened after the last one we did. I guess there was an earthquake in Africa shortly after we did that clearing, and also some other things that took place and happened. So, I mean, I think we definitely make a difference when we work with the organic energies that are calling us. I mean, we had no idea that the fever trees were going to come in so powerfully like they did. And so just all kinds of magic happens in these sessions where we really connect into things that a part of a more broader network, grid network, and organic network that really help to come in and clear. Like the elements respond, the spiritual aspect of the globe, of Pachamama, of Iru, of the goddess earth energy, it responds to the spiritual work. And so, yeah, so much transformation takes place. And I really hope you guys can join us for the 8/8 Lionsgate. Also, guys, we're still registering for the implant course. So you just want to go over to coursework and go over to my implant and seal removal course. And all of the information is here in terms of the certification course that is designed to train the facilitator and the instructor with all skills necessary to remove implants and seals to 4 different implant and seal systems. This is a high-level Mastery Instructor Attunement 6-day, 2-weekend live class calls in September. We're really going to be going over how to read holographic architecture and how to do these removals. So that way you can implement them for yourself and also for your business and do these clearings for other people, because I can't be the only one doing these clearings, you guys. This is a global restorative guardian effort when it comes to removals of seal systems. Again, this is a collapse down and a breakdown of frequency fence, of negative alien ET tech, of the damaging of the crystal technology from the fall of Atlantis. And we are the rehabilitation team. It's really to develop your practitioner abilities, and this course for you to take your spiritual practice completely to the next level. And so we're going to cover a lot of extensive training and practice. We're going to have breakout rooms. It's going to be all live interaction and participation. So if you're somebody who needs to have that like community support, everything is going to be there, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be some of my best instruction, as it's really at the core of what I do. So I've probably done over 1,000 JCL removals at this point. And so I think the time has just come for me to pass the torch, so to speak, for others that want to do these removals, because they really are helping so many. And we can't continue to expand this more unless more people are doing them. And so all of it, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I hope you guys join me. And last but not least, I did just want to kind of fill you in on my last beach experience down the other night. So as I was laying there in the sand, and I seen the typhoon funnel that night, I had a really crazy experience. For one, I'm trying to protect myself from all of this negative energy and infiltration. But two, the organic systems speak so loudly there. So what happened was the celestial body of Cygnus came down into me, literally came down from the sky, and the celestial head of the double diamond earth body star core matrix, I was just completely embodying the swan's energy. I think I slipped completely out of time. I definitely lost time. For what felt like about 2 hours for me was actually 5. So I was down there for 5 hours, lost complete track. And I went into a lucid dimension. It felt very light. It felt very soothing, very soft. My chest completely opened up. All tension released from my body. And it felt like a very light, soothing, soft vibration, a white silhouette of energy that essentially interlaced into my chest and my arms. And so it had me like lifting my arms and spreading my arms out to move gracefully and rhythmically, like Cygnus the bird, like the swan itself. And it was just imprinting all of this data seed packages of grace and agility and poise and finesse into my being. And it essentially started showing me the cosmic egg and the serpent's ascent into the global grids and the correct passageways of life and death. It was just downloading me like crazy. It took me to ancient Egypt, and it showed me the kings and the pharaohs who encoded these passageways into the pyramids, these like life and death passageways into the pyramids in like a living light form that was inscribed into the templating of the architecture in the pyramids. And it was showing me where these holograms were still activated according to the Stargate and how they formed the arc to source all around the world. And it was encoding me with how we can harness these pyramid light codes to anchor in the new earth body into the light fields of the earth. And I started to see all the portal passageways to the pyramids opening up inside of my womb, and extensions of this into the inner earth body and beyond. And so these pyramids are alive. Like when you think about the pyramids all over the earth, all of the ones that are down in the Yucatan, the ones in Antarctica, the ones in even Louisiana, like there's pyramids everywhere in the Grand Canyon. Okay, all of them are living energy systems. They're ancient generating systems that are connected to all of the other pyramids on the earth, kind of like a tree root network. It's the same thing with the pyramid network. They're all living energy forms of 64 codons. They activate according to all of the elements of the DNA. And this entire network is just lit up like a Christmas tree for the Lionsgate, you guys. It was just showing me how lit it was, how lit the diamond network, the diamond grid, and how we can use and tap into this network for deeper work for the grid work. So again, be sure to join us for the grid work. We're going to be probably starting out in ancient Egypt and getting those living light codes, those directions to those holograms, and utilizing that work. I think it's just revealing more of this to me in terms of the diamond architecture as more of it ignites for the Lionsgate. And all of it is taking me back to the codes of the 3 days of light to run in the Earth's field. So I have spoke about the 3 days of light, I think around the same time last year, I think 2022, from about February, March, April, May, till June, July. Yeah, I was talking about the 3 days of light. And this is the potential of 3 consecutive days of light, kind of like a solar flash, but it's a little bit more intense. And it's kind of like where we had 6 consecutive days of light in the conception and the birth of everything in our universe, how it was brought forth in Genesis, like in creation, everything was done by the 3rd day. Okay, so it would be like a repeat of creation of 3 days. And so you can imagine the possibility of 3 straight days of pure light in the earth body. And this is something that has been filtering into my consciousness for some time. It really is activated through the Cygnus system. And now that I'm even more connected to the Cygnus system, it's just prompting me to bring this information up again and speak on it, speak on these codes. If this were to happen, it basically would eradicate all of the darkness on the earth. Alex Collier has spoken about the Cygnus supernova blast wave and how it's being channeled through the Andromedans, how we're getting more and more of this light energy into the earth just from the continuation of Cygnus. So hot, you guys. So hot, even in the evening at 7:23. Gotta get in the pool. It's calling to me right now. As you can see, my floaty's like, let's go. But there was some things I wanted to tell you guys about the 3 days of light that I think are important. And then I'm going to get off today for this update. It's been so good connecting with you guys today. But if you just look at the galactic sciences and compare information coming in to everything that is aligned according to the Cygnus system, you have to look cosmologically at Cygnus. It's where we are having these universal systems where they are in alliances with Cassiopeia, the Delphi system working in collaboration. It's all of these particular celestial bodies that work within the sun disk installations of the planetary body. And so they're transmitting the prophecy of this. And so what would happen, what you could expect from the 3 days of light would be a potential second creation, where humankind becomes like God, where we have light templating, reconstruction, illumination of the firmament. So where it would shut down the Project Blue beam, okay, and recode the firmament. Light will essentially access the deepest, darkest spaces on the earth. We'll have a massive collective awakening or a 4th eye soul opening event. The 22nd chakra system, the 22nd parallel, 33rd and 44th will obviously be fully activated. It will reverse the plagues, the apocalypse, the revelations, the trumpets, and the seals. Okay, it will break down all the frequency fences, all the crucifixion and persecution, all of the Holocaust, all the core world wounding. Done for. All of the negative egos and planetary pain body will open up to the 0-point field. All division and duality will be removed for 3 whole days. It will be the end of ordinary realities as they will essentially merge in union with the divine. There could be a potential coming of the 3rd Messiah, potentially a female. Kings, leaders, ministers, and presidents will make peace with each other. So all of this war within the Aquila systems with Russia and all of this will basically, because what will happen is all of the olive branch codes will activate across the globe. I have pictures of this up on my website. If you go to my blogs, I've written extensively about the 3 days of light. I've done videos on the 3 days of light if you look in my previous videos. And it's all about activating the olive branch codes. There will be a restoration of youthful appearances. We all know we could all use some of that. Okay. And the fountain of youth will release. And then that is some sort of like portal structure that will release down in the Bimini Islands where the actual fountain of youth is located. All of the alien hybridization traumas will be healed and bloodlines will unify. There could be resurrection of the dead, creation of a new heaven linked into the 7 higher harmonic universes. And many just will probably go into a dream walking experience or existence, which I already feel like I'm doing half the time anyways. I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely distracted a lot. And it's because of the amount of light that I'm holding that it's obliterating out so much old and toxic energy constantly. So it's a lot of up and down right now, you guys, a lot of up and down. but also the ancient grandmother Lemurian codes will restore all of like the Turtle Islands. And so yeah, and then more freedom codes will release into the grids as well. So it's basically a coming of the prophecy of the 3 days of light. This is highly activated again through the diamond codes. So you may be getting these downloads as you tune more into the diamond architecture, the star core diamond crystal matrix inside of the earth. And more of this coming online. Lionsgate will activate this majorly. And so it will definitely be something we're discussing in the Gridworker remote session. And also we'll be covering some of this as well in the Implant course. So I look forward to you all joining me. And I think what I'm going to do now is just go take a dip in the pool, you guys, because I'm hot, I'm sticky, I'm sweaty, and it's so good to connect. I love you all so much. I'll see you on the next update.